Do you ever think that you would be a great research subject, even for like treks to Mars or something? Because you've done something really rare to be isolated from humans in this stark environment for 54 days. It's probably never really been done before.
Yeah, I haven't exactly submitted myself for the NASA program yet, but I am fascinated by space. I think that there's a lot of interesting things to be learned. I mean, you asked about food, from a more scientific perspective, that's the one piece that we really dove really deep on, which was nutrition. In researching this project ahead of time, not because I was trying to poke holes at people who had attempted this project previous to me, but of course you're trying to do something that people have ultimately failed at or died trying. You're going like, where did they go wrong? Like, how is there a way to improve on this methodology? And one of the things I focused on and found was around the nutrition component of this. I looked at it and I said, I don't think anybody has fully dialed in the nutrition of this project yet. And so I found this incredible company who ultimately became one of my biggest sponsors, a company called Standard Process, which is a whole food supplement company in the United States. And they got really excited about helping this process. And what they ultimately did is they have this center called the Nutrition Innovation Center, where they do all this research on food and nutrition and supplements and all this kind of stuff. And they wrapped me with a team of, at one point it was like 20 doctors, nutritionists, scientists, dietitians, whatever, hundreds of blood tests on my body throughout this year, all this physical stress test, VO2 max test, all this physical testing, whatever. And what ultimately came from all of that testing is they came up with what they thought, and I agree, was sort of the perfect food for my body given the environment. So the best calories in the most nutritionally dense way, delivered in a way that makes sense for Antarctica, so they could be eaten frozen, but not too frozen that you can't eat. And in the end, all of my food sensitivities and stuff that like normally in day-to-day life wouldn't be a big, it's not like allergens, but things that have had 1% inflammation response, we're not including that. We're not including that. And so they came up with these bars, which they called the Colin bars. We could probably come up with a more clever name, but they're called the Colin bars, completely customized for my body. And that's what I ate pretty much the entire time, were these Colin bars all throughout every single day. That was my main source of fuel, completely plant-based. So it's, basically coconut oil, no crazy chemical derivatives or anything, all whole food ingredients. So nuts and seeds and the exact right macronutrient blends of high fat, lower carbs, so slower burning, exact micronutrients. So, magnesium and beet extract and all these types of things, all off their organic farm, all created into this custom food for me. And I ultimately think that was the real key to success for me. Was one of the main keys was doing that, because traditionally in polar travel it's been like, yes, you need high calories, you need high calorie dense stuff, and you look at it, and like most of the pioneering explorers eating something called pemmican, which is basically like lard and bacon and stuff like that. More recent times people have gotten away a little bit from pemmican, but it's still just been like salami and cheese and just like high fat foods, but also foods that are like highly inflammatory and things like that. And you look at guys' bodies breaking down over a month, 2 months, 3 months periods of time out there in these larger expeditions, and I'm like, that can't possibly be right. And so it was interesting to go through that. We're actually publishing all this research very shortly here on all the sort of blood work and everything we did, because I just want to share it with the world for whatever applications that might stand for. I don't know if that's a trip to Mars, but whatever kind of other wild things. And it just goes to show that the nutrition health component. I was raised, in a family that my parents were grocers, in the natural foods industry, kind of on the cutting edge of that industry. But it's amazing to be able to tell, for me, the true story. People are like, how'd you do this? What'd you eat? I'm like, well, like I ate whole food ingredients, not some crazy chemical derivative of anything, customized for what my body needs, completely plant-based. And people are like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, like that's what I ate.
Wow.
And it worked.
And it worked.
Yeah.
So you're eating like 10 of these bars a day.
So each one of the bars was roughly the size of like an iPhone, I guess.
Okay.
And each bar is 1,100 calories. So very, very calorie dense. So people were like, yo, can I get my hands on the Colin bar? And I'm like, maybe we should make a retail product, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to eat an 1,100 calorie bar unless you're really trying to gain weight. Yeah. But for me, I was burning 10,000 calories out there every single day. And the most that I could carry was 7,000 calories per day. So 7,000 calories seems like an insane amount of calories to eat, but I'm actually running a 3,000 calorie deficit. So I'm losing weight every single day. Obviously, I put some weight on to know that I was going to lose it, because after our calculations, we realized that to be the case.
Okay.
But I'm eating 4 of those per day. So about 4,500 of my calories per day are the Colin bars, and that's what I was eating the entire time I was moving. So in those 12 hours that I'm pulling my sled, I have them chopped up in all these small blocks, and I'm basically every 30 minutes eating a bite of that. Inside the tent, the beginning of the day and the end of the day, I had slightly different, basically similar versions of that, but I made like a fortified oatmeal that had a lot of the same powders and the same nutrients and stuff in it, and a freeze-dried version of that at night because I could have hot water like inside the tent to just kind of make me a little bit, I don't know,
like home
warm.
So you had some
Yeah.
hot meals.
I
in
had
the
some hot
morning.
meals inside the tent, but outside the tent, it was just the Colin bars, and that's what I took the entire time. And people obviously, an obvious question is like, well, you must have gotten sick of them, or you must have been terrible to eat the same thing every day, and all that stuff. So I was like, yes, just like any person in normal, when I'm sitting here in London, like I would like a variety of things that I eat throughout the day. That said, in this extreme environment, it was the opposite, which is rather than being like, oh, am I gonna like the meal today or not the meal today or whatever, it was like, I am burning the cleanest fuel that I can possibly have in my body, and it's working. So give me more of that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
It felt good.
Yeah.